So, Amtul, you have done the sorry, Saurav, you have done the project, is it? Okay. So, did you face any difficulty? Did you have any problems doing the project? Cool. Okay. Cool. Good work, Saurabh. So, did you upload the project to GitHub, like, or deploy it to Ursel or something? Once you have done the local development, so we have taught you how to upload the code to GitHub and deploy it to Ursel. So, have you tried uploading the code to GitHub? No, sir, I can upload now. Okay. Fine. You can upload and probably share it, right? So later after the class, you can upload and share it. So we can go through it, and like if there is any improvements in the project, we can suggest that. Okay. Cool. So let's start the class now. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. So this is the CSS thing which we saw yesterday, like how to create and link CSS files. Then CSS selectors, we had IDs and class names. Then we completed this sample project. So for this sample project, we had learned multiple concepts. The red border. So this is one property where we can do red border over the element. And we learned CSS grid. CSS grid as in like, just to give a quick recap, CSS grid is a way of like drawing rows and columns and arranging things based on which column and which row that element should be arranged. Okay, so if you have any more doubts, you can like see yesterday's recording, and then like if there are any doubts, you can raise that doubt through that Google form. Okay, so once we saw CSS grid, then we saw this property of text align center, where we align things to the center along the horizontal direction. Then we built this navbar. Okay, then box model. Box model, we had this padding, border, and margin. Okay, padding is the spacing between the element and the border. Margin is the spacing outside, and border is the box. And we had different directions to move things: top, bottom, right, and left. So all the four different directions you can move and give spacing to the objects. Then image fit property. This object fit cover we will be using for our images. Then we design this card where we have an image and a name and add friend button, where we have some spacing, and we used grid to like align this. Okay, so the code for this is given here, and also you can check yesterday's recording if you have more doubts. One more card of the same nature. Then we saw responsiveness of like how to design websites for different screens, like from 400 500 pixel to 1500 pixel. You have various sizes of screens, so we saw like how responsive websites work. And we also saw like basic responsiveness of like using percentage in columns, which will give some basic kind of responsiveness to the websites. The summary. Yeah. So yesterday we left out with this project, the CSS project. So what we have is we have a nav bar. Within that we have a heading, and the heading is in the center. Then we have kind of like some box for sign in. We have two input fields. The value is John, and it has a placeholder. Similarly, some three characters for the password, and we have a placeholder called enter password, and we have a sign in button. Now, if we click on the sign in button, we are taken to link.html page. In that, a navbar is there, and we have two items here. One is hello, it's just a text. And the second one is a logout link. If we click on this logout link, we are again taken back to the first page, index.html. Then we have a card here with some text which is centered and some image with proper dimensions and a like button. Okay, so this is again like a project which will help build on the concept which we have already learned. Now I will do this project in front of you guys, so that like you if you have not tried it, you can like see how to go about doing the project. Yeah. So yeah, let's start out. So the first thing we generally do is we create a folder. So we have a desktop folder called repos, and with that we have a sample CSS. Now I'll create a new folder. Okay, so I'll name it exercise CSS. Okay, so now I have created the folder. Now I'll open this folder in VS Code. The steps are same. I have to click on file and open folder. I'll go to desktop repos exercise CS. So this is where I want to work. Okay. So firstly, we do same things again, like we create an index.html file. So this is the first step we generally do, and we give the basic template, HTML template. First is the HTML tag. Then we have the head tag. Within the head, we have title. Title is exercise CSS project. This will be the title. After the head tag is done, we have a body tag. Within the body tag, we have, for now, I'll give some heading. Okay, so what was the heading? Welcome, click on sign in to the next page. Okay, I'll just give welcome. Okay, now we have head, title, body, and h1 tags. Now we have to run this file on live server. So you have to right click and open with live server. So we saw what is live server in our first class and the explanation of live server. So we have the title here, exercise CS project, and we have this heading, welcome. So next we have to draw a red border over this. Okay, so we generally do it using a red border class. A single class we will create on CSS file, and then like we use it wherever we want a red border. Okay, so for that, first we have to create a file called style.css. So this is where we put all the styles. Now how to link the style.css we saw. So after the title tag, I am giving link CSS. So if I click on tab, this is already getting created, this style.css. Now it is created and linked. Okay, now we need a red border class. So for class names, you have to give dot red border. Okay, the property is border 0.1 rem, 0.1 rem, solid red. Okay, so now I'll apply this red border class to my heading. So for that, I have to give a class, and I'll paste the class name here. Okay, now the output should be this red border I've gotten. Okay, now I want to move this heading to the center. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll create a ID. Why an ID? Because we have only one heading, right? So we can create ID. I'll just give the ID as heading. Okay, now I'll select this ID here. And I'll give text align center. Okay, so my text is aligned to the center now. Next, we need two input tags. First input tag is a text with a placeholder called enter username and a value called John. The default value was John. So we will first create that. So we have a input. Input type is text only. Now the placeholder is enter username. And the value, default value which is already there is John. Okay. Next, I'll give an input. Type is password. Placeholder is enter password. And some default value 123. Okay, so we almost have the same thing here. John is the default value. Enter username is the placeholder. 123, it's hidden, but 123 is the password value, and placeholder is enter password. Okay, then we have a button called sign in. Okay, so I'll create a button called sign in. Okay, so this is done. Now again we will draw a red border over here, because here also we have this red border. So but this red border is over the all the three elements. So any idea how to combine all these three elements together and draw a red border? Can anyone tell me like how to combine these three elements together? So we have three elements here, two input tags and a button tag. Okay, so we have to combine these three elements, group these three elements, and draw a red border over this element. Use div. Yeah, that is right. We can use div. So we will use div. So what we will do is we will wrap all the three elements with the div container. Okay, let me format my code. Okay, so I've wrapped all my three elements, two input and a sign in button over div. Now here for the div, I can apply red border class. Now I will have a border here, slightly different. Okay, what happens is there is some uh, padding here within that. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just give some padding on the top and the bottom. Okay, so this red border, instead of that, I'll also have an ID. This ID, I'll call it as sign in box, because this is a sign in box. This is a sign in box. So I'll call that as a sign in box. Okay. So this sign in box I've selected, I'll select it in here, my CSS file. Okay. So I need some padding. So the top padding I will give as 1 rem. So I have some top padding here and some bottom padding. Padding bottom also I'll give as 1 rem. Okay. Now I need to align everything, keep everything to the center. So again, the same property, text align center, I'll apply here. So if I do that, I'll get the things in my center. So it looks same as this thing. Okay. Now, if I click on sign in, I'm taken to a page like this. Okay. So we will first do that. So if we click on sign in, right now it's nothing is happening. So we have to click and go to link.html page. Okay, so this also we saw in the first class how to do. Okay, so what we have to do is this button is there, right? So we have to wrap this button inside a tag. So I'll give a tag and I'll take the closing tag. I'll put it after the button. Okay, I'll format my code. Okay. So now the a tag is wrapped, the button tag is wrapped within the a tag. Okay, now if I click the button, I should be taken to a link.html page. So I'll first create a link.html page. So within that, I need HTML, head, title. I'll give it as link file. Then I'll give body. Within body, I'll give a h1 or I'll give a p tag called hello because we have a p called hello, p tag called hello. Okay, so now if I click this button, I should be taken to link.html. So I'll within the href property, I'll give link.html. Okay, so now this is our project. If I click on sign in, I'll be taken to link.html. Perfect. And I have this p tag. Okay, so what else I need? I need a link. Again, it should go back to index.html. So I just need a link. I don't need a button. So I'll create a link after this hello. Okay. So link is a tag. I'll just give. I have to go back to index.html. I'll put logout. Okay. So now I have this hello logout. If I click on logout, I'm coming to index.html. Okay. Now I'll draw a box over it. These two elements, the same technique. We need box over two of the elements. So we have to wrap these two elements, organize them together in a div. Okay, so I'll give a div here. I'll take the closing div and give it here. I'll format my document. Okay, so this div, I'll name it as navbar. Okay, so we already have a navbar here, right? We don't have a navbar. We have a heading called welcome. Okay, we don't have a navbar ID. So I can give navbar here. Okay, so this navbar actually needs a red border also. So I'll apply the class red border. Okay, now if I see my output, the red border won't be applied here. This is my project which is there. Okay, but this is my project which I am building. Okay, so I have red border applied here, but why I didn't get red border? I have applied red border here in welcome. I got a red border here in my welcome, but inside, okay, I have applied red border here. Okay, outside of this hello and logout wrapped in red border, but I didn't get a red border over here. Can someone tell me why I'm not getting red border over here? Yeah. So I have not linked my CSS file, okay, yet. So this is my CSS file. Here, if you see in HTML, index.html, I've linked my CSS file. Until we link a style sheet to a index.html, we won't be, the styles won't be seen, okay. So we have to, again, link the CSS file here in the head. Okay, now once this is linked, you will have the red border. Okay, now we need to bring this logout on the top. Okay. So again, one more question: how to bring logout to the side with whatever we have learned? Um Anyone? How to bring the logout to the side? So hello, logout is now down. I have to bring it here. Yeah, display grid. Yeah. So I'll apply display grid with my ID. Okay. So I'll give the ID name. Okay. So if I have to give grid, I have to give display grid. Okay. Now how many columns I need? I need two columns. So display, sorry, grid template columns. Okay. So I'll just give now 50% because I have only two columns. So I'll just give 50%. So each column should occupy 50%. If you see now, this is 50%, this is 50%. So you can't see it now, the exact column, how they are occupying. So to see it, what we can do is we can apply a red border class here also for the P tag and the A tag. Okay. So I've applied red border class for hello and logout. So now we will know. So hello is like this and logout is like this. Okay. So each column, this is one column. It occupies 50% of the space of the parent container. This logout also occupies 50% of the space of the parent container. The parent container is the div. Okay. So if you see in CSS file, we have two columns. Each column should occupy 50%. Okay. Now if I want three columns, what I'll do is I'll just put another p tag as third column. Okay. Now instead of 50, I'll put 30. Let's keep this as 50. So the remaining will be 20. Okay. So if you see the output, this is the 30 percentage column, this is the 50 percentage column, and this is the 20 percentage column. So like this, you can have multiple columns using grid. You can also have multiple rows also. Okay. So for now, we just need two columns. So I'll just give 50%. Okay. Then I'll delete the third column. I don't need it. So this is what we want. And we have to align everything to the center. Okay. So for that, what we will do is this navbar ID is there. So we will do text align center. So both the hello and logout have come to the center. Okay. Now what is a strange thing here is hello is in the center vertically, but logout is in the top. Okay, for some reason. So we need to give some margin on the top of logout. Okay. So I will select the logout first. So how do I select it? I'll give an ID called logout. Okay. So this ID, I'll select it in my style.css. Then I have to give margin top. I'll give 1 rem. Okay. So now they are like almost in the same line. Okay. I'll remove these red borders here. It is not required. So I'll remove the red borders of logout and hello. Okay. So now I have, this is what I want. Hello and logout. Okay. Next, I need three elements now. A text called mons tag and an image and a like button. So I'll create these three elements now. Again, like to make everything together, organized together, we need a div. So I'll first create a div and I'll give a p tag called mons tag. Okay. Then I need an image source. I'll take this one only, copy image address. and I need a button called like. Okay, so if you see the image is big, the mon stack is here, the image is kind of like this is the actual image size, but we want something like this. And we have this like button somewhere here. Okay, now we have to arrange everything. Okay, so first let's draw a red border. Okay, to draw a red border, we will apply this class red border to this div. Okay, now we have a red border over the elements. You can see. I'll also do some text align center and let's see what happens for that. So I'll give an ID for this, or I'll give a class. Why I'm giving a class? Because we will have lot of these boxes like this. Nav bar is a single time occurring thing. So I've given ID. So since we have lot of boxes like this, I'll just give a box name called some detail box or something. Okay, so I'll name the class as detail box. I can name it anything. So I just came up with this name called detail box. So let's select the detail box here. Okay, I'll just give text align center. Okay, nothing really happens here. Did I do it right? This class is a detail box. Okay, so we will see what kind of debugging we have to do. So first, let's try to apply text align center just for the text. Okay, so I'll just give a class called text. Okay, so this text I'll copy just for the text I've given. So it has come to center. Okay, so the text has come to center. Now what I'll do is I'll also give some space between this box and the navbar box. Okay, so that we had already created that box, so called detail box. Okay, so I'll give a margin top as 2rem. Okay, for some reason this margin, this detail box is not working. Okay, so I found the mistake. So what is there is we have another box, another class called red border. So if you have to declare multiple class names, you have to put everything in within that double quotes, and for each class name you can give space. Okay, so this was the mistake. That's why even like text align didn't get. So I'll just put text align here. Okay, so if you see, everything is centered now. Okay, mon is centered. So we don't right now we don't need this text class. Okay, so text align center has centered my things. Okay, now so for this like button is also there. Okay, so what we will do is we will first let's give some spacing outside the box, right? So we have some spacing here and here. It's not occupying the entire thing. So we already have created this detail box. We'll give some margin left. So now to make it responsive, we will give a percentage, right? So we will give 15 percentage. So if the entire screen is 100 percentage, give a margin left of 15 percentage of the screen. Here also in the right, we will first let's check whether 15 percentage is there. Okay, so yeah, we have the 15 percentage as the margin left. We will again do 15 percentage for the margin right. Okay, so the box has come inside, but the image has gone outside. Okay, so what I'll do is now we have to touch this image. We have to definitely do something about this image. It is properly distorted. Okay, So we saw like how to resize image, right? So if we check CSS, you can see we use three properties. So first, let me select the image. So image, I'll give a class called I don't know, img. Okay, I'll do this img. So this class is dot img. Okay, so I'll give a width. I'll give a first. I'll give a height. Okay, let's fix the height. I'll fix the height as let's see 10 rem. We will see how much height is coming for 10 rem. Okay, 10 rem becomes very small. So I'll give the height as 20 rem. Okay, it's kind of decent now. Okay, um, we will also put the width to be 100%. So if I put 100% width, it will be 100% of this box which is outside. Let us try that. Width to be 100%. Okay, so it occupies 100% of the outside the parent container. But the problem is this image is little bit like elongated along the horizontal direction. So to fix that, we have this property we saw. So it's called object fit cover. So if we do that, it will crop the image and make sure that it's not distorted. Okay, it appears properly. Now the like button is also down, but we need some space on the top and the bottom for the like button. Some space here. Okay. So we will first select the like button. I'll give a class called like button. I'll select this class here in style.css. Okay, I'll give some margin top 1 rem, margin bottom 1 rem. So top and bottom, I've given some margins. So this is my file. It looks exactly like this. Little bit spacing is different, but it's fine. Like we have achieved what we want to achieve. Yeah. So yeah, our project is complete now. Our Access project. Yeah. So we have again like revisited all the concepts which we learned in the CSS part. Okay. If you can see, it will be a little bit responsive also. So we can check from 500 pixels. So this is how we have to check whether the site is responsive. So it's almost responsive only, like nothing actually breaks here in our site. Okay. So yeah, pretty much that is it for the CSS exercise project. Okay, so any doubt till now? We will, before we continue to Bulma, we'll start off with Bulma today. Okay, we will see how to design some stuff, make our designing easier with Bulma. But before I proceed, is there any doubts? Grid or flex? Yeah, okay, it was a thing. Okay. Is there any doubts with respect to whatever exercise project which we saw? Okay, so if there are no doubts, I will continue with Bulma. Okay, so why we need something like Bulma? Okay, so if we have to design, if you see, even after doing so much work in our project, it still looks kind of like basic. We don't actually have proper like new kind of like different design which is innovative and which is looking good, right? So designing CSS itself is like an again like a deep ocean. Like a lot of things can be done to like design CSS, but these CSS frameworks make our life easier. If you will see in a while that within like few extra set of code, you will turn this into a very good looking kind of like a site. Okay, so that's why like Bulma and all these CSS frameworks with less amount of code, it makes our life easier. But the only thing which we have to look after is when you're using frameworks is they have lot of inbuilt kind of like styles. Okay. So we have to use the minimum stuff in each framework. If you start using the entire stuff of CSS framework, right? So you have to start fighting against the framework after some time. Uh, yeah. So you will understand like as we develop things about the point which I told, right? So first step is we have to add Bulma style sheet to HTML page. Okay, so if you see, this is our own HTML style.css page, our own style sheet. Okay, so what Bulma or these other frameworks do is they have their own style sheet. Okay, so once you start applying their styles here, okay, so how to apply that is you have to put their style sheet here as a link. So we have link and style.css is our style sheet. So we have to put Bulma style sheet on the top. Okay, we will see how to apply this Bulma style sheet to our project right now. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll keep off this exercise CSS project aside. I'll create a new thing. Okay, so I'll name this Bulma intro. Okay, so I'll open this in my VS Code. Okay, so I opened it. So I'll create a index.html file first. Now I need the HTML head title. I'll put a link CSS file. We are yet to create the style.css. So another way to create a file quickly is if you click on Control plus click. If you have a Windows, you can do Control plus click on the file. If the file is not there, it will automatically create the file. Okay, so this is one thing. Shortcut you can use. Another, let's continue. We have a body tag. Okay, for now, what we will do is I'll just give a p tag. Okay, so I'll just put some text as welcome. Okay, so no styles is applied till now. Okay, nothing is there. Nothing is applied. Not even Bulma is applied. So let's run this in live server. Okay, I'm closing the previous projects. So I have a welcome here. Okay, so this is a plain HTML. Now, how to add Bulma to our project? Okay, there are multiple ways, but we will see the this common way to easy way to upload add Bulma to our project. So this link you can click and open this page. Once you open here, you have to go to CDN. CDN using HTML link. Okay, so use a CDN. Okay, and we have to copy this CDN link. Basically, it's Bulma's style sheet. This is our style sheet. Bulma has their own style sheet, so we have to paste it above our style sheet. Okay, so if you can see our output, little bit there is a difference. Can you see? Like the welcome has changed. Without the Bulma, this is how it looks, and with Bulma, it looks like this. You see the thing had changed. Okay, so Bulma has some basic styling which will be useful for us, and we can develop websites pretty quickly, and those websites will look good instead of looking boring. Okay, so let's continue with the slide. So this is how we have to add Bulma to our project. Okay, now the first kind of element which we learn is a box. Okay, so to create this box, you have to apply some 5-6 kind of like different CSS lines to get this box in vanilla CSS, in actual CSS. Now, since we are using Bulma, if we just put a class called box, we get a box. It's pretty simple and like pretty simple, and like we get done with the box very easily. Okay, and box is a very common thing in multiple elements, or like the multiple projects which we use. Box is a common thing which we use. Okay, this box, I don't know whether you can see, but there is a box here. Okay, so first let's try to apply this here. So we have a div called div with a class called box. Okay, so what I'll do is I have this welcome thing, right? So what I'll do is I'll just put a div outside the welcome. Let me format my code. Okay. So I'll give a class called box. Now, if you see, there is a nice kind of like a raised box here. Okay, so with this, if you have to achieve in CSS, with this, if you have to achieve in CSS, you have to write some 5-6 different lines of custom CSS to achieve. Since we are using a framework like Bulma, so it gets easier to do these things. Yeah, and what you have to do is just add the class names. So they will have different class names. If you see, I'll just show you the this documentation. So Bulma's documentation is linked here. So for a box, right? So you have to add a class called box. If you need a button, you need to add a class called button, and it will automatically style. So if you want different colors of button, we have these different colors of button. So this particular turquoise color button, this primary button, for that you have to apply a class called class button. That is one class. If you just apply button, the button will be like this plain button. Okay, if you want a green button, you can do is primary. This color, this turquoise looking button we will have. So it's pretty simple. Otherwise in CSS you have to write the color and everything, right? So so this is how it works. You have to just add the class names of Bulma. If you see, we have no class names done till now. So every class name, this particular class name is being applied from Bulma. Okay, and you have to make sure that you don't use these class names in your style sheet. You shouldn't use box class name in your style sheet because it is a inbuilt class name in Bulma. So you shouldn't use a class name called Bulma in your class name called box in your style sheet. You have to name it differently, right? You have to take care of that. So once the box is done, next is input. Okay, so let's try to do this also. So we have a input tag. Class is input. So the only extra thing which we have to do is we have to give a class called input. The type is text and the placeholder is text input. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just put a input below. Okay, so I'll create an input. Type is text and I'll give some placeholder as username. Okay, now this is how it looks. My output looks. This is how it looks. So if I want a good looking input, what I have to do is I have to apply a class called input. So this class is from Bulma. So if you see, like I have a nicer looking input field. Okay, this is the second kind of things which we use. The third thing, now after input, we have to use a button. Okay, so as we saw, this is the button. If you just give a class called button, it will have this color kind of like button. If you need the different colors, you can use is primary, is link. Okay, so there are different colors as we saw in button. This is info, this is success, is warning, and is danger. So these different colors we have. Okay, so let's create one button with this like primary thing. Okay, so I'll give a button below this input. I'll give sign in. Okay, so I'll give a class called button. This is a Bulma class, and if I see now, I'll have a this button. Okay, if I remove this class button, you can see the normal HTML button, how it looks. So this is the normal HTML button. Once I give a class called is button, it looks like this. Now let's say I want some green color. So I'll give is primary. It's again an inbuilt Bulma class. So I have this green button. So basically these three things we'll be using from Bulma, this box, input and button. So with these three things only we can make our sites look very good. Okay. So let's continue with our slides. Now this is a sample project which we will build. Okay. So let's quickly build the sample project. Okay. So we have already built the this thing, the nav bar kind of in our project, right? So we have some welcome. So I'll just put sign in instead of welcome. I'll just put I'll close these things. I'll just put sign in. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to align it to center. So I'll just give an ID called navbar. I'll copy this ID here. Now we are applying our own styles, right? So we want to align it to center. So I'll do text align center. Okay, I got sign in here. Okay. So next is what I want to do. After the sign in, I have another box here with two input fields and a sign in button. Okay. So we need to have a box in a container, div container. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll have an input name username. Okay. I'll create another input. This time I will put password and I'll give a placeholder called password. And I'll give a class to style the style it using Bulma input. Okay. Now let's check the output. Username, password, and sign in, but these are not aligned properly. And also we need a box outside of this. Okay. So I'll just first wrap everything in a div. I'll format my code. Okay. So now I'll just give this as like a class called box. So hopefully I will have some box here. So you can see the box and we will give some spacing here in the top. Okay. So I'll just give an ID called sign in card. Okay. Sign in card or sign in box you can give. So I want to style this. So I'll give the ID name here. Okay. I'll give some margin top as 2rem. So I have some spacing here. I'll give some more space. I'll give some 4rem. Okay, so more space is there. Now I want the card to occupy only the center. So again, like what I can do is I can give some margin left and margin right. Okay, so for this thing, I'll give some margin left. But I'll give it in percentage as we saw in the last project. I'll give some 15% and margin right. I'll give another 15%. Okay, so these things are looking good. Now let me align everything to the center. So I'll give text align center. Okay, now it is looking fine. So we also need some spacing between the input. So I'll just select the password. So if I select the password, I can give margin top and margin bottom. So just with a single element, you can give the spacing. So I'll just select the password now. Because if I select the username, I can only give margin bottom. Again, I have to select password to give some spacing here. So for making the code concise, like I'll just select the password. Okay, so I'll give this as ID as password. So I'll give margin top 1rem. margin bottom 100. Okay, so yeah, we are done with our sample project. So obviously you can see with very less amount of code, right? So just with few lines, and like we are using Bulma. So just with this, we are having a decent looking sign-in form. Okay, so once this is done, this is the sample project using HTML, CSS, and Bulma. We can upload this project to GitHub and Vercel. So once you start doing a lot of projects, right, just keep uploading it to GitHub, because in GitHub you can see your commits. So if you open your GitHub profile, right, so generally like they will see how many projects you have. Okay, your recruiter see what all projects you have, how many projects you have, and if they click on overview, they will see like what is your activity now, like whether you are constantly building projects, and when you're are you like constantly committing your projects, you're building new projects. So GitHub is a good thing to have when you are like searching for jobs. So a lot of the recruiters see your GitHub profile, and they will see like what are activities you are doing. Okay, so as you build small projects, keep pushing everything to GitHub. Okay, so it will be helpful in the long run. So once you upload, and you can also deploy it to Vercel. Okay, you can check the first classes recording of how to the second classes recording of how to deploy to Vercel. Okay, so we have come to almost the end of the thing. Okay, so I'll just show you how to build this final project. You guys can try. Okay, try and come. Tomorrow we will build this. Okay, so today you can take this time to build. We have covered all the concepts which we need to build this. I'll just show you how the thing looks. So this page we have already built in the sign in thing, which this page we have already built. Okay, so if we click on sign in, we are taken to a page called post.html. Okay, in post.html, we have this nav bar with 3 links. Okay, if I click on post, again, this is the same page, post.html only. Okay, I have some input called post title, image link, and some create post button. Okay, below that, I have multiple posts. Right, so if you see, this is kind of looking like a Facebook or Instagram clone kind of a site. So we have this profile image and some text and some image here. This is a card from Bulma and some likes and some like button. Similarly, we have the second post from John Doe with some text and image and likes and like button. So like this, some 3 cards you can build. Okay. Once this is done, this is the post.html. The next is friends. If you click on friends, you are getting friends.html. So these are your friends. So these are like all static now. Nothing. We are just focusing on HTML, CSS, and like making our websites look decent. So this is now nothing is clickable, right? So it's just static. So once you click nothing will happen here. Okay, so we have unfriend button and some picture here and some name. Okay, this is the second page, and when you click on sign out, you are coming back to the index.html page. It's just simple, one page, second page, third page, that's it, 3 pages. Okay, now the code for this card, if you're finding it a little bit difficult, the code for this card, you try on your own, but the code for this card is given here in the slides. For this card, the code for the card is given here in the slides. You can go through this if you're feeling stuck, and like you can apply these styles there. Okay, they both index.html and style.css is given. Yeah, so you guys can give a try. I'm pretty sure like you can do it. Like we have covered all the concepts required to do this. Yeah, so you guys can give a try, and tomorrow again, like from 9 to 10 types, we will connect, and I will walk you through this project. I'll build this project in front of you. Okay, so before you guys drop off, I want to talk about the full stack course which we are starting from Feb 12th. Okay, so this HTML CSS we are covering right now. Once that batch starts, also like we will be covering, right? So so we will cover HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay. After that, we will have Node.js, React, Express, MongoDB. This is the MERN stack, and we will learn more about Git and GitHub. So right now we have only touched the basics of GitHub. We have not even taught about Git. Okay, so in that course we will be teaching you what is Git and how to use the terminal and how to write commands and all. And post that, like deployment we saw in Vercel. So we will see how to deploy React apps in Vercel. And in backend we have another technology called Render. Sorry, another platform called Render which we will use, right? And so this course, the main live classes I will be taking, and we have some set of mentors who will help you in your doubt sessions. Okay, so this is the uh, this is the curriculum. Okay, HTML, CSS, Bulma, and after that we cover these concepts in JavaScript and DOM. Okay, so basically we cover all the concepts in JavaScript. We have some projects also like weather app and JSON placeholder API apps. Then we get into the front end and back end. Okay, so React is the front end, Node and Express is the back end. These are the topics which we'll cover. We'll also cover authentication, hashing, everything. Okay, and then like we do database using MongoDB, and post that GitHub for versioning and uploading the code, Vercel and Render for deploying. So Vercel we will use for deploying front end, and Render we will use for deploying backend. Okay, so basically it's a comprehensive full stack course, and this course we are specifically offering for college students because we got a lot of inquiries that give us a comprehensive full stack course, right? So we plan to just give it for college students. So the timings will be same, 9 to 10. It will be 3 days per week classes. So it will be either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So 1 hour per day, like we can have. This course will go on for 3 months because a lot of things we have to cover, and we are building around 8 projects. Okay, and we will have a separate WhatsApp group where like you guys can chat. So this current WhatsApp group you cannot chat, so we will have a separate WhatsApp group where you can chat and ask doubts. If you're if you're getting stuck with some bugs, and that has to be resolved with a call only, one of the mentors will come on a call with you, one-on-one call, and resolve the bug. So multiple times when you're installing some software or installing a package or doing some projects, you will get stuck with bugs. So that will be highly demotivating when you're trying to learn. So that support we will give, even if it is one-on-one calls, our mentors will help you with that. And obviously certificate we will give. So the batch starts on 12th, February 12th. And this course we specifically offer only for college students, right? So it is exclusive only for college students to for them to like take up this course. Okay, so the price we are offering here is at 1899. If you guys are interested, you can enroll. Like I have sent the form links and some basic FAQs, like what this course is about, and you can read through the FAQs. And any questions, you can DM us on this number. So basically, we have sent this PDF in our WhatsApp group. You can go through it. If you have any doubts, you can DM us on this number, this 952422. And if you're interested, you can take up this course. Okay. If you are really interested in learning full stack, this course will be definitely helpful for you. Okay. So yeah, coming back to this, so pretty much that is it. Any doubts till now, which we covered with respect to Bulma, CSS? Any doubts, any feedback you guys have? Okay. So what you can do is you guys can give a try for this final project. Okay. Just try to do it. If you are not able to complete, you can like come attend tomorrow's class. I'll build this in front of you. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for joining the session. I'll meet you guys again tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.